Well, hello. I'm coming to you on a very windy day, so windy that there are a couple of road closures and our house is currently running on a generator. Wanted to give a long-term update. It's been 2 years now that we have been leasing our 2018 Outback 3.6 Limited, and I wanted to give you guys, just an update to see how we like it, what we don't like. I haven't really seen a whole lot of long-term reviews, and if there are any reviews, the majority of them are for the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that most people get because it's less expensive and you can get the same interior features and technology and things like that, and it gets better fuel economy. One of the things I like about the car is it's got a pretty quiet interior. The interior is where you spend all of your time, obviously, and that's always been something that's been really important to me. Things like quietness and just comfort. Interiors have always been a big thing for me. So today I'm picking up some twigs that have been scattered onto the road from the high winds we've been having recently, and so every now and then you'll hear some of those. We also have not the greatest roads here in Pennsylvania, so I'll hit a pothole every now and then on this drive. But for the most part, it's pretty quiet, especially with this engine. One thing that's different between the 4-cylinder and this 6-cylinder, which is larger and obviously more powerful, it's also quieter. When you're sitting at a red light or at a stop sign or something and the car's just idling, you really can't hear it running. But besides that, the interior itself, doesn't transmit a whole lot of road noise. Compared to a European car, it does transmit more road noise, but it's not loud. There are other cars on the road that have a louder interior. And so one of the things I like about it is the relative quietness of the interior. One of the reasons I bought this car with the options it does is because I wanted Subaru's EYESIGHT system, and I really like the way it works, especially when you compare it to other systems that are out there on the road. It does a lot of things well, and I've heard fewer people complain about it versus its competition. So this is equipped with the full EYESIGHT suite. It has adaptive cruise control, it has lane keep assist, it has lane departure warning, it has reverse automatic braking, so if you don't see something that comes out behind you, it can slow the car for you, as I have to cross the lane because there's a branch in the middle of the road. It also has rear cross traffic assist, so if you're trying to reverse out of a parking space or out of your driveway and something's coming across from behind, it'll alert you of that. And of course it has a reverse camera. They've been required, I believe, since 2007, but I could be wrong. It might be a little later than that. Number 3 reason I like this car is because of the cargo space. It is a wagon. That is one of the reasons we wanted it, or I wanted it when we were looking to get another vehicle 2 years ago. Because we were wedding photographers, we carry a lot of gear with us. There were, 2 camera bags, a light stand bag, a tripod, all kinds of equipment that we had been using my wife's sedan for, but we, being that we were in the market for another vehicle, I wanted something with more cargo capacity. I did not want an SUV. This is too close to an SUV for my opinion. It's basically an SUV, although, it is the Subaru Legacy with a backpack and a lift kit. So technically it's a wagon, but this size, when you compare it to a lot of other things, it's huge, especially when you compare it to the 09 and older model. In 2010, when they went to the fourth generation, they really made this thing a lot larger. The one plus side to that, though, is the cargo space, and I can fit 2 tall trash cans in the back to put the recycling in every week and run it down to the end of our quarter-mile long driveway. I don't have to drag it or roll it or carry it. Just put it in the back of the car with the can standing up, and it fits nicely. I believe the cans are about 40 inches tall, and so they hold a lot of stuff, and the car can hold them. We used to do recycling runs to a recycling center, and we could drop the rear seats, pile this thing full, and it can carry more than you know it can. I like the low cost of maintenance on this vehicle. We did purchase the prepaid maintenance package that was offered when we leased the vehicle, and what that covers is there are several different packages, but the one we got covers the first 4 services. The first one is an oil change and tire rotation. The second service is an oil change and tire rotation, and they replaced the pollen air filter or cabin filter. At the third service, it's an oil change and tire rotation again. And the final service that I received was an oil change, tire rotation, and another pollen filter. And even if I would have paid for those out of my own pocket, there aren't a lot of things that the car needs. Having worked previously at a Subaru dealer, the big services on Subarus are going to be your 30, 60, 90, 120. Every 30,000 miles are the bigger services. That's when a lot of the other fluids get replaced. The spark plugs get replaced at 60,000 miles. And so those are going to be a little bit larger, but in the grand scheme of things, there isn't a lot of maintenance to put into these cars. They pretty much run and don't ask a lot of you. The final thing that I'm going to mention that I like about my Outback is that it's got built-in crossbars for the roof rack, which I don't think I've seen on any other vehicle. And why is that important? Well, I've only used them once so far in the 2 years that we've owned the vehicle, and I liked that they were built in because, having crossbars in your car is, 1, typically an added purchase. 2, they reduce fuel economy. They increase wind noise, especially in the interior. They don't look as nice typically if they're just bolted onto your roof all the time. And so, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have bought them because I don't really use them often. But the plus side is being built in when they're not in use. Subaru was smart enough to build them in a way that they fold into themselves, and you can't tell they're there when they're not in use. But when you do need them, you just fold them out, and then you can put whatever you need to on top of the roof, and you're up and running. You only need one person to do it. It's really simple to use, and I didn't have to buy them. They came with the vehicle. It was a really nice feature that I think a lot of people overlook, but if you ever need to use them, it's a great option. However, the model that doesn't come with the crossbars built in are the touring models. So whether you get the 2.5 or the 3.6 touring, they have the low profile roof rails, which are kind of like you see on most other cars, where it's just a piece of chrome or a piece of metal that runs down the length of the roof, but you actually have to bolt or buy crossbars to mount to those. So if you buy one of the touring models, which is the top of the line model, that's something that you'll have to keep in mind. I have another video coming of the top 5 things I hate about my Outback, and so look forward to that coming soon. Thanks for joining me.